Hey, welcome back to this mini lecture. This one is on self-regulation. Just an overview. Self-regulation is about getting into and maintaining the level of calmness or alertness that is just right for the situation. You don't want it too low or too high. You want it just right. Here's a definition of self-regulation. It's a person's ability to, 1, adjust alertness level to environment's demands because those shift. 2, display emotions or behavior in appropriate ways. Again, that depends on the situation. And 3, ultimately to achieve goals. Generally, children develop self-regulation as they age, but we can help them do that and make it easier for them. Why does self-regulation matter? We need to teach children coping and regulation strategies to help them when they become stressed, anxious, and sad. Otherwise, they don't know how to cope with those difficult emotions. 2, children who can self-regulate typically turn into teens who can self-regulate, and this ultimately leads to success and happiness of our children. So if we want them to be successful and happy, we should help them self-regulate. Here are some common challenges when you think about self-regulation, some actual applied examples, especially in the K-12 space. You often see children who are overexcitable, especially younger ones who are difficult to wait. They find it difficult to wait. They shut out in class, or they rush at tasks when they should be a little bit slower. 2, they find it difficult to transition from fast-paced playtime to school time. For example, when they have to stand in line before going into a school, that can be really difficult when they've been running around. And 3, challenge controlling emotional states. Sometimes they can have frequent and often lengthy tantrums. So self-regulation, ideally done correctly, can help them deal with these types of challenges. When you have a student or a child that's having problems with self-regulation, you can ask yourself a couple of questions. What is the behavior communicating? Or is the child hungry? Are they feeling stressed and they in pain? How often is it happening? If you notice it over time, you might want to use a diary to help to understand the pattern of it. 3, does the behavior need to change, or is it something that's, say if it's hungry, it's something sort of simple that, just have them bring food to school earlier on. You provide food, something that's kind of relatively easy to deal with. 4, is the child too calm or too alert? You want to see what is happening to them. And is the behavior in part sensory based? For example, is your classroom environment too full of sensory stimuli and it's just overwhelming the child? Here are 3 components of self-regulation: emotional regulation, executive function, and sensory regulation. First is emotional regulation. This is the ability to control emotions to meet goals. Here is a quote from Aristotle, quote, "Anyone can become angry, that is easy. But to be angry with the right person to the right degree at the right time, for the right purpose in the right way, that is not easy." That is very true. Understanding others' perspectives are also used in regulating emotions and can help us. By understanding someone else's perspective, it can slow us down and we can regulate our emotions based on that and make our emotions more appropriate. 2, executive function. For those of you who don't know, an executive function, it's kind of like a command or control center that oversees actions and mental operations. For example, planning and organizing actions, executing a plan, impulse control, or self-talk, where you internalize your speech. And finally, sensory regulation. This allows children to maintain appropriate levels of alertness to respond appropriately across environments to the sensory stimuli present. Sometimes if there's a low, you're giving them very few sensory stimuli, you don't want them to over respond, for example. That was self-regulation. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.